I sat on my bed, helplessly crying and praying for direction. My marriage was falling apart. I was falling apart. I was so fearful and doubtful to make a decision because I was afraid of what people will say about me after this divorce is done. I'm going to put so much shame and basically put my family down for taking the decision of divorcing. That's supposedly a very bad word. It was causing an embarrassment for me, literally even making that decision. And thirdly, when I divorce, who's going to want to be with me? I'm going to be a divorcee. And on the other hand, I was living with a man for a year and a half, my so-called husband at the time, who I barely knew. He was such a stranger to me. And he found every reason to belittle me and to disrespect me and to mistreat me. And the sad part is, I allowed it. I'll give you a little glimpse of who my wonderful ex-husband was. And I've been trying to find a name for him, and if you, in this duration, find that one word to do...
Just saying.
Oh, listen to it, honey. I mean, as I go through the characteristics of this man, you'll have better words for him. Okay, so months before we got married, this was on the phone, literally, he said to me, Sharmine, I am going to dress up in a white suit. And on our wedding day, I'm going to look so good that nobody's going to want to look at you. Oh, there's more to come. This is nothing. We would obviously fight and argue a lot. And because of that, heat of the moment, you end up saying things you don't mean to. And they're kind of mean. So usually after my fights, I would always go up to him and be like, hey, listen, I apologize. I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to say that. And his response to me would be, Sharmine, no need to apologize because you know what? I will keep that grudge against you. And the next time we fight, I will use it against you. At one point, I remember telling him, you're stressing me out a lot. And he said, I'm stressing you out? You just wait till we have kids. They're going to make your life even more miserable. Thank God I have no kids with him. Because of his attitude, I would always confront him about, listen, you need to get your act together. This is wrong. And he would tell me, I'm the man. You don't tell me what to do. Do you have a better word for him now? I'm still trying to describe this man. It's just completely out of my mind here. But you know what? Now that I think about it, that night when I sat there making a decision, it was so difficult for me, I get mad at myself. That decision really wasn't that difficult. I was complicating it by thinking about others more than myself. I get mad at myself because, Shar, this person is treating you so bad. It's a toxic marriage. It's sucking the life out of you. How is it so difficult to make the decision of just letting him go? That's me now. But the Sharmine back in the time was not confident and was not clear. And the root of the problem was that for 29 years of my life, I could not make my own decisions. I always depended on other people to validate my decisions for me or make it for me. It was just easy for me that way. I didn't have to do all the thinking or the hard work. And as a result, when it came down to choosing my husband, it was no different. The extended family came up to my parents and said, hey, this is a nice guy, will be a good match for Sharmine. They asked me, I said yes. Arranged marriages in East Indian culture is common. I didn't have any reason to question that. I wasn't forced into it by any means. This was normal. I said yes. Because I never thought that I could make my decisions better than anybody else. I felt everybody else knows more than me or better than me. Lack of confidence right there. And to make things worse is this was a long distance match. He was in UK and I was here in Canada. Phone was the only means of communication. We barely knew each other. I got married to a stranger, the biggest gamble of my life. The night when I was sitting there praying for direction, thank goodness I found direction. And for the first time in 29 years of my life, I made the right decision on my own, and I chose myself. I chose my happiness, and I chose my well-being over anything or anyone else in this life. And the next day, of course, we separated, followed by a divorce the following year. That was the most devastating part of my life. It was almost easier to live with that toxic man than to live with the after effects of my decision, especially because I initiated that. I felt so shitty. So shitty. For months, literally, I was crying. I was in the most depressed stage of my life. I was like, did I do something wrong? I'm still doubting it, literally. Jeez. And the biggest fear at that time for me was Sharmine had no identity. I realized that, and that was very scary. Because again, I was the kind of person whose happiness depended on others more than her own happiness that comes from within. When I got married to this man, I planned this whole thing. I planned to live with this man, have a happy married life, have kids, have a job, average, doesn't matter, and just live happily ever after from there. I didn't have big dreams or goals. I didn't even know what that meant. I was willing to settle for less because I didn't think I deserved any better. Huge lack of self-love. And for 29 years of my life, I never took my life seriously. I never took my education seriously, my career seriously. And here I am, my divorce happened, my entire life came crashing down in front of me, and like, what's next? Who are you, Sharmine? I looked at myself in the mirror, and I only saw failure and a loser. This was literally universe's way of teaching me a lesson. I firmly believe that. You know why? Because divorce was certainly a big failure of my life, but before that, I've had many other failures and disappointments. They were there to teach me a lesson. I was just too stubborn to learn it. And then I had to hit the rock bottom. I had to get my act together. I was destined to do bigger, better things in life, and I just wasn't paying attention. I kept wasting my life away. And the universe finally had to tell me, by doing this, girl, get out there, get your act together. You need to wake up. Enough is enough. My coach said this beautiful quote that I want to share with you. His name is Abe Brown. He said, you are who you are until you change who you are. I'll repeat it again. You are who you are until you change who you are. Isn't it beautiful? I had to make that choice. I did not want to go back to Sharmine. I wanted to give birth to a new me, a new Shar, and she's standing right here in front of you today. I'm in no way and in no means perfect. I make mistakes every single day. I'm still learning. I'm a product of my mistakes. But I'm proud of the fact that I went through some failures and disappointments. I don't let them define me. They, in fact, made me who I am today. I'm proud of it. And it's not going to end. My journey actually just started. I may have started my success journey 2 years ago, but my fearless journey started 6 years ago when I went through a divorce. And in this journey, what I had to do was A, my willingness to change. B, my faith in the God Almighty. I said to him, I'm like, you know what? I'm giving myself to you from here on. I just don't want to go back to that person I was. Help me make the right decisions. I know I'm destined to do bigger things. I just don't know how to get there. Can you please help me? With that came the support of my parents, my siblings, and my 2 very best friends. And I learned that I don't know all the answers, so I will hire coaches. And I hired some amazing coaches who helped me get through this far and showed me direction. One of the coaches actually helped me create the book that I have today, and it's sitting right at the back there. Sorry, the books could not come on time, but this was one of the best places for me to share my book. The book cover just arrived 2 days ago, so I'm very proud to share that. Now, my biggest thing was trying to find my passion. And now I know what my passion is, which is to work with many other people that are victimized by their choices. Because truly speaking, nobody else to be blamed for the choices we make except us. I was to be blamed for that too. I mean, it was me who did not take my life seriously. Whenever it came time to going to school, I would blame the school or the instructors for not doing a good job. I'd see successful people and happy people, and I wanted to be like them, but I didn't want to put the work like they did. So I'd say, oh, you just got lucky. Like hard work had nothing to do with it, right? And same thing with my marriage. My husband may have had a very small role to play in it, but let's be honest, I saw red flags all along. It was I who chose to get married to a complete stranger. It was I who walked down the aisle with my dad, crying. I was trembling with fear. I couldn't even take my vows properly. That's how scared I was. But I let it happen because I chose that life. I cannot blame anybody else. I may have played the victim card at that time, but right now, when I think about it, I was the victim of my own choices. I allowed him to treat me bad, and then I blamed it on him that because of you, I was depressed. I gained weight. I had high blood pressure. Why did I choose to be in this, first of all? Right? The thing is, with my passion, I want to help many people out there that do feel that they're victimized by others, but really, it's the choices you make. That's all it comes down to. I also wanted to be very happy in my life, fulfilled. And the one thing that always makes me happy is public speaking, doing exactly what I'm doing right now. And so I joined Toastmasters. They helped me a lot in learning and growing. I started my YouTube channel, as you heard, Chit Chat with Shar. That's where I learned how to be more vulnerable. I wasn't taught to be that way. I was always taught to show your strength, to show that you're very strong, always. It doesn't work that way. All I can think about at this point is when you make the choice to change, only then your circumstances will change, or else nothing's going to happen. Now, if you decide to live the victim life, your choice. If you decide to rise above your circumstances and take charge of your life, again, your choice. Who's going to have to live with the consequences of that? You. I'd say choose wisely. Please don't hide behind the excuse of, this is not the right time, I've done it. Because it's never going to be a right time for anything. Anytime there's time to take action, you will make some kind of an excuse. Who can agree with me on that one? And the thing is, it all comes when you start loving yourself more. When you love yourself, and this has come up many times today, you're not gonna settle for less. You know you deserve better. Better relationship, financial freedom, amazing career. This is your journey, your path, your life. Don't depend on others to validate that for you or to give it to you. You need to work for it, and you can do it. You know what? Sharla is doing an amazing job, so thank you, Sharla, for creating all this. And when you showed those slides where those girls who are, they wish they had our lives. We have the freedom, we have everything possible around us to make things happen, yet we take it for granted. I know I did. What's your excuse? I'm sure if those girls got an opportunity to do what we can do here today, they'll do wonders. That's where the attitude of gratitude comes into play. And today, if you can take away anything from this talk of mine, just take this one thought. Ask yourself, what exactly are you doing to live a life that is fulfilled and purposeful? And if you're not doing anything about it, what exactly are you waiting for? Someone's validation? You don't need it. You know that, right? I just want to end with a short little poem from Anita Poems, and it's called Struggles in Life. And it goes like this. Struggles in life may be many, losing everything, not having a penny. Sometimes our hearts will be empty and alone. Anxiety takes over, depression prone. We learn to deal with our emotional scars, forgive others, and reach for the stars. What about anger and frustration? Well, adversity helps us to fight with the temptations. Sometimes in our lives, we struggle and suffer. Those experiences make us much tougher. Struggles teach us what words cannot say. They help make us the individuals we are today. You, everybody in this room is fearless, is amazing, is a victor. Don't let anybody take that down for you guys. A happy Fearless Women's Day to all of you. Thank you very much.